Hello, Divine Souls, and welcome to a timeless collective general message for my YouTube collective to open the space and cleanse the space. I just want to burn some Palo Santo to bring in the good vibes and positive energies. And of course, to call in the Most High, the Mother, the Father, and the Source that resides within us all to assist with this reading in whichever way it may need to for the collective who is receiving, whether that be through perspectives, insights, illumination, clarity, so that they may receive for their highest good and nothing but their highest good towards the path in which they wish to take for their highest timeline in which is able to be reached. Alrighty, thank you, thank you, thank you, Ashe. Now that we've done the intention, let's get into drawing these cards with the original Tarot Rider-Waite deck. And just as a reminder, this is a general message, so it may not fully resonate with you, but please do take what does and leave behind whatever does not for the person who may need to receive next. And as another reminder, my level of communicating the energies are a bit of a higher caliber simply because I do tap into the energies behind the actual cards, not just the symbolism, but of course I use it hand in hand. So shall we see what is it that this collective today needs to know and receive through my channel and vessel? Spirit, let's have a look. We'll grab 4 cards as always to give this reading. Okay, 4 cards have been pulled. Let's just pack away the rest, shall we? Pop that to the side. All right, we have our 4 cards. Let's get into it, shall we? Okay, we have the 5 of Wands on the Crown and Third Eye Chakra. We have the Tower card on the Throat and Heart Chakra. We have the Queen of Wands on the Solar Plexus and Sacral Chakras. And we have the 3 of Pentacles on the Root Chakra. All right, there we go. That is our card pulls for the Tarot. So let's begin. 5 of Wands. This is an energy that is really starting to speak up to the fact that you have been potentially having a little bit of chaos and conflict within your awareness. And I mean this, it could also be external. There are just things that you're starting to realize are just, they're not aligning in the way that you thought they would. And this is very much to do with the way that you're perceiving things. So this could just be that you are realizing that old things, old patterns, old people, places, and things as well, as I said, externally could be potentially, or even just old mannerisms, old habits and hobbies aren't actually feeling aligned to you anymore. You've kind of been able to see through the illusions. You've kind of been able to actually understand that, yes, you are the same person, but you aren't presenting and really allowing patterns that don't serve you to continue playing out. And it's mainly because you've actually come to the awareness and attention that you've been having this really intense inner conflict about what to do and how to go about it, because you weren't really aligning with what it is that you truly wanted and really felt passionate about within your own self. And now that you're starting to let go of the things, because it feels like this is a process that you've had to go through this conflict, and it's really because of the fact that there kind of has to be a bit of chaos before the storm kind of passes. And this is why I say that you're starting to realize that the sun will shine again when you start to begin actually aligning with what feels right to you instead of what you think is right. And this is because this is all about the illusion and the awareness in which you're perceiving right now, because ultimately your perceptions in the past have caused you to continue being in a lot of chaotic energy, right? And now that you're starting to see through that, you're able to actually untangle whatever it was that you had been allowing yourself to continue in, to realize that there was something that had been keeping you stuck. And the more that you actually receive your intuitive guidance and your intuitive pulls of what it is you feel called towards, the easier it is for you to start coming out of this chaotic energy. But it does come from a place of, can you listen to your own self and inner wisdom, but also that version of you that can see more than what is just occurring in the right now. Because sometimes it takes a bit of a higher perspective to be able to understand that what is happening now isn't because things are going wrong or things are just not going the way you thought they would. It is more about the fact that things needed to shift and change. And a lot of the time when that happens, especially with the number 5, there can be a little bit of just upheaval, and you want to be able to really recognize that it isn't per se a bad thing. It is just a season of change that is creating this chaos, and that things just will realign as you start to choose what is actually going to feel best for you. So really getting real with that with yourself and being honest, and no longer, allowing external factors to keep you where you are, is a very important concept. That the more that you can actually realize that with this tower energy on your throat and heart chakra, things need to be released. Things need to be brought down in the sense of just shaken up to the point that this storm is clearly coming through because it needed to clear the way for you. Okay? Now, and one thing I'm really getting at the moment that's coming through my channel is that when you're going through a storm, the easiest way to move through it is to go through it, quite literally, not to just hope that it will pass. And, of course, there are times where you need to protect yourself and you need to find shelter. But at times, it just requires you to find the ability to be still, even when there is chaos all around you, or that you feel is just encompassing you. And this is because there is some things that are trying to be, I want to say, the foundations are wanting to be recreated from what they were to what they need to be for this chapter, in which that maybe, because the Tower moment is a big transitional card, right? Things are literally being demolished and being brought into destruction so that you can actually create something even better than what was there before. But that's always the point, is that there's always going to be that season just before things get better that it gets really challenging and really, 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 really painful at times, because you just can't see how this is going to work out. But the more that you can really tune into your heart and your communication of your truest authentic truth and embodying all that you are with authenticity, the easier it is for you to acknowledge that no matter what happens, no matter what gets swept away by the storm and the things that just need to be completely, moved away from, you are creating this space and the ability to actually call in what is going to help you in the next phase you're moving into after this transitional point. Because it is one of those energies of just rebirthing, allowing things to be, I want to say, let go of, so that you can actually receive what is actually for you. Because if you don't create that room, how can the universe bless you with what you actually need instead of what you think you want? And that is a very big trust experience of knowing that the universe can support you if you are willing to let go and surrender the things that just cannot continue forth in your journey and experience. And now I get it. It isn't freaking easy. I know. Trust me. I see it all the time. People are suffering through things that they don't want to be. But there is this concept about the perception of the chaos you might be moving through. If you can simply reimagine it to know that this is simply a phase in which you were experiencing, to then be open towards what it is that you can actually move through towards, that is going to be so much better for you. And this is why I say that even though you may be feeling this sense of scarcity and feeling this sense of lack and, things are falling apart, just remember that even when things get really bad, that things can always get better just as much as well. And I know that can be triggering for some people because they feel like, oh, but it's not getting better. It hasn't been better for so long. The more that you focus on what can get better and what can go right, the easier it is for the universe to actually do that for you. But you've got to believe in it first. You've got to trust in that. And this is why the Tower card isn't supposed to scare you. It's supposed to enlighten you that things will get better. After this moment and phase of what you're moving through, it isn't easy, but the more that you can see through it, as I said, move through the storm despite the external factors in which may want to alarm you, the easier it is for you to just simply start creating the right foundations that you need for the next experience you're going to move towards, right? And this is obviously really important because we have the Queen of Wands, which is on your solar plexus and sacral chakras, which is basically this energy of you starting to come into confidence. But that's the whole point, right, of what I just spoke about. The Tower card is this energy of destruction, and you're feeling frightened and worried and, oh my gosh, are things going to work out? You've got to really stand in your Queen of Wands energy, okay? You've got to be so passionate about what it is that you can achieve and what you can actually pursue and the success that you have the ability to attract in. It's all available to you. It all exists, but you have to align to that frequency to really be able to accept that it is possible for you. Because once you do that, the universe knows that you are ready to create. You are ready to really be in a position of power within your own power, and not overtaking anyone else, but simply just doing what is best for you to keep elevating into higher heights, right? And there is a sense of joy and happiness that you can find and create within this. But you also have to acknowledge that this is the idea of, can you allow yourself to stop feeling potentially victim mentalities and lack mentalities to actually pursue this energy of Queen of Wands by actually being really excited and really enthusiastic about what you can actually build next after the things that do not belong or serve you anymore in your life to be moved away, so that you can actually offer yourself what it is that you really want to experience in your life and in your experience of life, that you have, you know, the openness towards actually deciding. And, you know, if you change the way that you perceive what it is that is leaving your life right now, the more capacity you have to truly embrace and enjoy what is yet to come. Okay? And it's truly an energy of focus on the things that actually bring you happiness. Focus on the things that actually make you feel passionate and make you feel like you want to keep going. The reason, the purpose, the ignition that keeps you moving forward. The why. What is helping you get to where you need to be? And the more that you see that you're your own, I want to say like the fire that fuels, basically the fire that fuels the energy to keep going. The more that you realize that it takes your ability to keep rising above anything that attempts to keep you down, you're just literally taking in all your power and using it and giving it purpose, instead of holding yourself back into places where you feel things aren't working out or things aren't progressing the way you thought. The universe has a divine plan for you, and you need to be able to really trusting in that process, and standing in this confidence energy of just knowing that everything you want, truly, not egotistic desires, but genuinely, intuitively know is for you, it will be magnetized to you if you continue to stabilize and ground yourself in this beautiful energy, and knowing that you will bring through the abundance that you truly deserve. And the Three of Pentacles really supports this concept, because it's really this aspect of starting to work harmoniously with different energies and starting to really accept that the more that you collaborate with different elements and different things in the physical realm, the easier it is for you to start actually cultivating what it is that you want to create, right? You're going to have a clean slate after the tower phase has completed itself. You're going to have room to build. And if you can really see that you have the ability to find support in, whether that be in material, whether that be in other people, communities, you'll have that if you give it time and energy to actually put into it, to watch it grow into something more than what it was. And by, of course, making sure the foundations are placed correctly. You know, everything needs a really beautifully stable, strong foundation to ensure that when you continue building, there's no way that shit can go wrong. There's no way that things can just completely be obliterated. If you create such a strong foundation, things will just keep rising. And you'll realize that you just had to really make sure that the first part of what you were doing to create it was so beautifully set in stone that you just have to allow it to keep growing. Just like when you have a plant, the beautiful metaphor of plants. When you plant a seed, you give it time to grow those roots, to really get strong in the earth. So when it's time to sprout, it has that ability to sprout confidently through the ground, because the roots are going to hold it in place. It won't move, it won't fall over, it won't, whatever, because the roots have been created first. So get aligned, especially with the root chakra that it's on. It's about grounding and really being confident in this, being able to actually be magnetized, but also just allowing it to grow as it needs to, because you're doing what you need to by being magnetic, right? Now, this is a very beautiful, supportive energy, even though you may be feeling a lot of chaos and things just being up in the air at the moment. But I want to use the Guardian Angel Oracle cards to support this message, just in really allowing you to gain some extra insight, clarity, confirmation wisdom in general that may be able to assist in whichever way that you are progressing through this particular timeline, or just the experience in which is coming through. So let's have a look at what this beautiful oracle would like to bring forth for the collective receiving this message today. Yeah. Okay, beautiful. Let's have a quick dig into these oracle messages, shall we? So we have the Angel of Remembrance. Now, I genuinely feel like this is because it's about knowing that the conflict that has been happening recently for you, or potentially in this moment. Gosh, I'm stuttering a lot today. But this is a remembrance about why you're in conflict. And I mean this because you're starting to really recognize who you really are compared to who you thought you were and the character you may have been playing. And that conflict is really starting to bring forth to you what it is that you actually feel is aligned for you, and moving away from the things that aren't. So if you can remember who you truly feel you are and know you are deep within your core and essence, the easier it is for you to simply let go of what isn't aligned and what isn't going to support you and make sense. Whether that be externally, people, place, and things, whether that be internally, your inner patterns, your inner stories, all those things that just, have convoluted how you're actually moving and progressing in your life at the moment. It's just about trying to accept what's occurring, but by also releasing what just hasn't actually been helping you get where you want to be, taking the direction that's actually going to get you to the destination that you've always felt is for you. And it's not to say that this doesn't come with its challenges, because Angel of Challenges came out. And it's also to say that your angels are supporting you through these experiences in which you may be feeling challenged, but ultimately you have the power to really stand up tall when you move through these experiences. The only reason the universe will give you a challenge is because it knows that you are ready to face it, and it knows that you are ready to make the decision. Whether you make the best in the sense of the highest, like aligned decision for yourself, or whether you don't, either way, it doesn't truly have a massive significance, except for the fact that it will determine whether you stay where you are or whether you move towards a higher version in which you wish to encompass and embody as your version in which you wish to be. And that is all it is knowing that the angels that support you, the spiritual guidance, they're all there to show you the way forward if you're ready to take it. If you're not, that's okay. There's beautiful freedom in the benevolent of the spiritual beings that support you, that wish to actually help you move in whichever way you want, because they trust that you'll find your way through no matter what. And if you take a detour, that's fine. They're going to continue supporting you no matter what. And then we have the last card, Angel of Past Issues. And I feel like this is truly an energy of knowing that a lot of the things that have affected you from like experiences that happened many, many, many years ago, or just things that have, even past life experiences, things that have happened prior to what's happening now is literally affecting how you're experiencing what you are at this time. So if you can see that there's freedom in releasing those past issues and acknowledge them for what they are, but then knowing that they're not supporting you anymore, and they haven't been, because you truly could be, progressing in the way that you want to if you were to let it go. But sometimes it's not as easy to know what they are, but the more that you can trust that you will see what these patterns are when they start arising and surfacing, the more that you'll actually let them be, and you'll let them simply pass. Everything will pass as it needs to, but you have to trust yourself in this, and then ground yourself within your own energy, your own power, and your own stability, so that you can continue growing, and knowing that your ability to grow is ultimately determined by how grounded you can actually help yourself become, even if there are things that are surfacing at this time. So trusting that process is really important, and knowing that you have support, knowing that you have physical, even if you are feeling a bit alone, just know that there are spiritual supports, whether that be spirit guides, angels, guardians, however you see that, but also just in the physical, if there are people that you trust, lean on them, ask them for support, ask them to be there for you if you need some help. Just know that there is always something that you can have available to you if you wish to ask for it, but it has to come from you. All right, Divine Soul, so that is your reading today. As always, I simply wish to be a soul guide and show up for you and support you along your path and journey, however that may need to be, whether that be reminding you things you already know or just simply bringing things to your awareness that will support you along your path and journey. I only wish to guide you towards a higher potential in which you can encompass so that you can truly experience a life that you know you deserve. So wishing you all the best along the decisions in which you choose to make for yourself, and I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.